All right, let's try this. So here's what I'm going to try to do a bunch of this stuff. So I've got two videos already kind of on the basics of how this server works. Um, I've uploaded those to my YouTube channel. Um, Now what I think I want to do is try some of this stuff. So the first thing we're going to do, if we come over here, is um, let's see. First thing we're going to do with our simple server is it's actually not, it's actually in here. Right. So this is where, well, first thing I think I want to do is move this above the while loop. That seems better. I think I'm going to, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So that you can sort of see where to type stuff. Let's, sorry, let me just check that I'm on the right branch. I am. Okay. .NET Run. You turd. What did that not like? The build failed. Wow, why did the build fail? Console. Oh, we don't have a write function. Oh, because it's a capital W. Well, fine. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, yeah, well, here's the problem. I like this, but then this is annoying. But this is coming from a different, this is actually a race condition, believe it or not, because this is getting printed by the listener thread, and this is getting printed here. Right, because once we kind of start this thing up, um, this spawns off a separate thread. So I've actually got two threads running. So good times. Well, I don't know. That's what it would look like. Now, what if I type, fungus? Blah, dude. Right, so it's reading all of these, but doesn't know what to do with them, so it's just reprinting the prompt. And what I want to do, and so I'll go ahead and stop it. There we go. What I want to do is print something like command not found, right? So we know that there's stop, and we're going to do some stuff with this. I could also say else if, oh, wow. I have GitHub Copilot turned on, so it's recommending a bunch of stuff for me. This is so it's like super crazy autocomplete, but none of this is what I want. I do want one other command. Else if command dot equals, whoops. Test. I'm trying to follow the God. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. I'm trying to follow this new style guideline of having like the brackets like this, which usually I would put the open bracket, open curly brace, here. So I don't know. Oh, the poor little guy. Of course he's crying. Of course he's crying. Oh boy, poor little guy. Okay. I don't know. This seems fine. Else if and then else. Hopefully that's fine. Hopefully it's fine. I don't know. I definitely want this. This isn't, I don't know. I just wanted test command. Right. Okay, good. Let's try that. .NET Run. What didn't we like? Error expected something something expected blah blah blah, but instead we got something else. That's a bracket issue. Oh, I'm missing a closing. See, I was wondering why this was showing up yellow, right? And obviously I was missing that. Oh, and oh, that's where it ended up. Okay, well, fine. Um, I don't know. Let's try this again. Good. Okay. So I can type test command. I can type foo, and I'll get unknown command, and I can do stop. Now, this unknown command, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do unknown command. Yeah, like that. I think I'll do the same thing here. Oops. Little guy, stop crying. That's good. I don't really, I don't know. I don't like this stuff. I just don't. I mean, I'm trying because this is how you're supposed to do. This is like the C# style guidelines say to put this open bracket on a separate line. I don't, does that mean that this should look like this? It just seems so verbose, but I guess it is very clean and kind of lined up nicely. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to do it this way. I'm gonna try. Okay. Um, so let's try this. Okay, so blah blah blah, and I can say test. I can say blah, and then I'll get unknown command blah, and I can say stop, and then it stops it. Okay, good. I like it. I like it. Probably what I actually need is okay. So now, okay. I probably want not to make this test. I want to make this help. And what I want to do for help is basically reprint this message, but with the different things we can do. So I think what I'll do is watch this string help equal, yeah, like literally this. I'm going to just move that up. So no, I don't need a paren there anymore. Stop. I'll say help. Display this help message. Stop. We'll stop the server and so on. What is this? Convert to Ross. What? I don't want to do any of that. I'm more than happy with this the way it is. And then what I'll do is I'll say here, yep, console write line, the help message. And then in here, instead of calling this test, I'll call this help. And here I'll just stick the help message. Maybe I should call it help message. Let's do that. Help message. Help message. And let's see if this one knows what it wants to be. Yeah, it does. Good. God, I love GitHub Copilot. I just like start typing and it like recommends stuff, and half the time it's right, and half the time it's insane. Very fun. Okay, so let's try this. .NET run. Here we go. You can try the following commands. I feel like these should be indented. You know, help. There's that. Blah. Command not found. Stop. Server stops. Love it. And then I can go here and like, I don't know, tab this in a bunch or something. Let's see how bad that looks. Maybe it looks good. Who knows? That really isn't too bad. Help. This shouldn't say server started. It should just say try the following commands. So what I'm going to do is server started. And then I think I want a new line here. And then this, I'll just say, I don't want to say try the following commands. You can use the following commands. So this will say server started, a new line, and then, and this is weird, this will have a space after the new line, which I don't actually want. So I'm going to back that up. But then here it'll just say you can try the following commands. .NET run. Okay, good. Blah, unknown command, help. Give me this again. Stop. Server stops. Okay, good. Now what I actually want to do in here is if I go back to my if I go back to here, here's what I'm thinking about doing. Add a command line option, give a better error message for unknown command line options. Okay, I just did that. Right. If we type in blah, it'll say unknown command blah. Add a command line feature query, the total number of requests. This I'm excited about. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to add some variables inside our server, and we're going to add some public methods to get them. And we're going to see, we're going to say like, hey, how many requests do you have? And it's gonna tell us. And then this will be a dictionary situation, a command line query. And when I say command line, I mean like I'm going to type in commands here to the server. This is where we have two threads, and it's really interesting because if you remember this, this constructor, you know, if we open this up, go to definition, no definition. Wow, let me here it is. Yeah, you know, if you remember, where's the constructor? Right, here's the private variables, here's port. Yeah, here's the constructor, which calls this initialize method. So if we go to this definition, this initialize stuff, one of the things it does is it creates a new thread out of this listen method and then starts it. So one of the reasons that if you look sort of here, when we start this, we get this little arrow, but then we also get waiting for connection. One of the reasons that's happening is if we go here into listen, that's this message, but it takes a little while to get to that message because we have to like create this listener and bind it to the right port number and then start this listener listening. That's happening in one thread. This listen method, we've like wrapped this listen method with a thread and we started the thread. So there's two threads. There's the main thread, which is the one I'm sitting here typing these little commands in and asking stuff about the server. Then there's the listen thread, which has the listener and like is doing all its work. And these threads can actually talk back and forth, which is going to be kind of interesting because if we look back here at program, right, this instance of server, this is in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put here, I'm going to say else if command dot e, nope, not that, dot e, oh my goodness, equals, yeah, okay, that's fine. And then what did I say I wanted it to do again? Query the total number of quests. I don't know. What should that be? Numrec. Numrex. I don't know, whatever. And then and I'm going to show, here's what I would like to do is console dot write line. Yeah, it's basically this. Now, this method doesn't exist yet, but we're going to create it. And start tracking it. Yeah, this is very freaking cool. Okay, so now we need to go in here and do this. So we need a variable for it. Where's all our private variables? And I think, watch this. I'm going to try something. I'm going to say, oh, wow. This is actually somewhat close to what I want. I don't want this. I don't want this. Well, here we go. Let's do this. Private int. I'll try to, yeah, num request equals 0. They don't want to return 0. We want to return num requests. Requests. And what's really cool, the way this is, so we're using, I forget what these are called, attributes rather than just get and set methods. And so we're saying like, hey, I want to be able to get this. I want to be able to set it, but the set is private. So what that means is even though like this is set to public port, well, it's public in that the get is public, but the set is private, meaning you can set it inside the class, but not outside the class, which is great because we don't want anybody with a reference to simple server to go in and just start mucking about with it. So let me show you what this is going to mean and I think this will just work. I think this will just work. So now num requests. So how do we know we handle the request? I think it's in that listen method. Yeah, here we go. So we start this thread while not done, blah, blah, blah. So once we've processed this, we know, yeah, num request plus plus. Now, I know this is a plus plus and not like an equals num request plus 1 or something, but it's going to translate it into, I think it will. What does this say? Introduce local for num requests. We don't need a local for it. Well, I don't know. Let's try and see what happens, right? Who knows? Oh, by the way, to clear this screen down here, I'm hitting Control L. That's going to work on Mac and Linux. I don't know if it works on Windows. Who knows? So we'll try .NET Run. That. Oh, well, whatever. Numrex 0. Okay, now we're going to go in and try to connect over here. You know, I don't know. We'll go there, and then we'll run that same command. Numrex. Well, that didn't work. Let's try it again. You know, I don't know. I'm reloading it. Wow, that's very slow. That is so slow. I'm gonna escape it. I don't feel like waiting. Let's go to foo. Now, one of the questions is this connecting, or is it like grabbing the cached copy? So my browser could be caching these because they haven't been changed, or they don't think they've been changed. See how this is just running, running, running? That's a little weird. I'm gonna stop this and start it again. All right. Numrex. I have to update the help message. I haven't done that yet. I'll do that. Num request is 0. Okay, fine. Well, let's just go to here. Yeah, okay. Whoops. Numrex. Still thinks it's 0. It shouldn't be 0 because obviously this will have finished because we got this waiting for connection again. Okay. Numrex. Let's try this again. That seems to have loaded. Still 0. This is kind of interesting. Let's try good old foo. Yeah, see now we're loading it, but it's like all slow and everything. So what's going on over here? Waiting for connection. Foo is the path. Yeah, foo is the path waiting for connection. But none of these are finishing. Why? Well, okay, good. This finished. Okay, well, let's try numrex. Still 0. Something funny's going on here. I'm gonna stop this. Maybe plus plus doesn't work. Let's do plus equal 1. And let's also check some sanity stuff here. That looks right. Make sure we have the right folder. We do. .NET Run. Okay. Numrex 0. Huh. Well, something interesting is happening with these variables. Num requests. Private set. I don't know. I mean, the port, who knows? Oh, you know what? I bet this is the issue. I bet what we need to do is say, yeah. Huh. Yeah. This was wrong, I'm pretty sure. So if you're saying private set and then you have something in the like curly brackets here, you have to put code in there, and value is the special placeholder for like the value of the set operation. So let me go ahead and stop and let me restart it. All right. Numrex 0. Now if we go over here and we load this and we do numrex 1. Okay, yep. So we needed this part in here. So it had a set, but the set didn't do anything, which means the 0 we initialized it to was all it ever was. So that was interesting. Like it was legal syntax to plus plus it, but it wasn't plussing anything. So that's really interesting how all of that worked out. That was super cool. Which really begs the question of like how this one worked. What are we even doing with this port? Port we're calling initialize. Okay, initialize. What's your deal? Yeah, see, we're not actually using, in other words, like we're directly setting the instance variable. We're not doing this, right? Port equal port. This wouldn't work without the set being correct, like fixed. So that's really interesting, right? That in other words, like we have a private set method that doesn't work for port, and it's the only reason things are working is because we're explicitly setting the instance variable. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Good times. Okay, well, listen, we can now track the number of requests, and we have this command line thing for it. So let's stop this and let's good. No, yeah, look at this. That's cool. Good. Okay. Love it. This looks really effing cool. What else did we have that we might have wanted to do? We also had, so that's basically like better command line features, query the total number of requests. What's this? Query the number of times each URL has been requested. So this is even, this is cool. So, now when we say URL, do we mean the full URL? Do we just mean the path, but not the parameters? I'm not really sure. To start with, we'll just have a dictionary of URLs. Let me show you what I mean. So what we're going to do in here somehow, somewhere is I'll put it down here. I'll put it after this. Well, I'll try to just put it here. We'll say private dictionary, and we're going to map string to int, and we're going to say URLs, I guess. Perfect. Okay, good. And this is going to map the URL we've requested to the number of times that URL has been requested. So we can kind of profile our software, our server, to figure out what resources people tend to be using. It's late at night, so I'm slamming the Mountain Dew. I dozed off a little bit earlier. I was trying to watch the Thursday Night Football, but I totally fell asleep. It's weird that this doesn't work. You know, this is going to drive me crazy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I found this code online. But you know what they say? Everything true is on the internet, but not everything on the internet is true. Okay. So, huh. I should have come up with a better name than simple server. I should have called it like tiny server or something. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, so here we go. So here's the context and so on. So after we've well, we want what we've requested, not what we've correctly served. I guess it is sort of a question because this could, well, it doesn't really matter if this throws an exception, does it? Doesn't really matter. If this throws an exception, who cares? It'll get caught and we'll get like a print line or something, and then this will happen. So that's fine. Now, if this throws an exception and we catch it here, we won't get the num request plus equals 1. So maybe I want this to be, I want to know how many requests before we try to process it. I guess that's fine. Now, okay, I'm going to open this because here we get the file name, which is basically, yeah, the absolute path. So that's basically the path that we've requested. Yeah, so now I guess what we're going to do is we'll just put it in the dictionary. So I think we just called this URLs. Yeah, that's what we want. So get value or default. of file name 0 plus 1. So this is super cool that C# lets you do this. So I mean, let me show you what I'm actually doing. Here's the I want to say if you this is what I want to say. If it contains the key file name plus equal 1, add 1 to it. So like if we've already requested foo 7 times, well, in this dictionary, I want foo to now be plus equal whatever the value was before. I want it to be 8. But if we haven't had it, we want to put it in there with a 1. That's basically what we want, is this logic. This is really common thing to do with dictionaries, you know, when you're using dictionaries for counting things. But that's kind of annoying to have to do all that. We'd like to do that in one line if we can. And C# lets us do that. We're saying, okay, put in URLs of the file name, URLs get value or default of file name comma 0. So it's saying like get the value for file name, or if there is no value for file name, use this as the default, in this case 0, right? And then add 1 to it. So if it's not in there at all, we'll get the default 0, but we'll add 1 to it. So we'll put it in with 1. But if it's in there with some value, then getting file name will return the number 6 or whatever it is and add 1 to it, and then it'll be correct. So this should work. Now, what we need to do is have a way to get this out and return it. And so now there's the question, what do we return? Right, we have, and this URLs is not a great name. I'm going to fix it. Where's the variable? Yeah, URLs. I'm going to rename. Where's rename? Rename symbol. Yeah, URL. I'm going to call it paths requested. Yeah, that just seems like, and that rename function will rename everywhere that it's been used. So now the question is, how do we get that out? Like, we probably don't want to just return it with a get method, because then we're just going to give somebody access to it and they could go in and change it. Maybe what we want to do is have a method that like converts it to a string or something like that, like have a public method. So like here, this is just getting num requests. Maybe we want like public string, you know, get, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. We don't actually want a set method, right? We don't want to like be able to create a new paths requested. I'm just gonna do this, and then we don't necessarily want to have this do anything at all. We probably don't even want this. We just want get. Whoops. No. I think. I don't know. We'll see what happens if this compiles without a set in there. Maybe it needs a set in there. Who knows? Right. Here's what we're gonna do here in our numrex. We're gonna say paths display the number of times each path was requested. I love this. Just GitHub Copilot trying to finish it for me. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll say else if command dot equals paths. Yep. Boom, autocomplete for me. So for each, and so what this is saying, so this var, again, this is using type inference, so it's like, I don't really care what type this is. So each var in server.paths. No, it isn't server. So it guessed here, but this isn't what it was. It's paths, requested. So I think what this is going to do, this will actually be like key value pairs. So path.key and path.value. I think that's what happens when you do a for each loop to iterate over a dictionary. Because dictionaries are key value pairings. So I think that's what this will do. I don't know. Let's try it out and see what happens. .NET run. That's good. Okay, now we'll go over here and we'll ask for some paths. Let's do foo. Whoops. Let's do books. Let's do books again. Let's do books again. I don't know. Now let's do paths. Yeah, foo1, books 1, because this is still spinning. This hasn't finished the second time through for whatever reason. I wonder why that is. Who knows? Well, who cares? I don't have any patience for this. Let's do nothing. Okay, and now we'll do paths. Foo and books. Okay, that's interesting. It's not I'm not getting like the blank path, the blank root path. Is that, I don't know, paths. Yeah, see, the empty string, right, is bound to 1. That's basically the root. This might be better to actually have these with the slash in front of them. I think that's going to be better. I'm going to stop this and go back in here. This is fine, returning the dictionary. I'll show you why I was nervous about doing that. But let me, okay, blah, 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 blah. Oh, what am I doing again? Right, this. I probably, okay, yeah. Here we go. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this here. Right, and we're going to do this. Path was requested. Include the leading slash in the path. Wow, GitHub Copilot is freaking smart. And good grief. And then here I'll just note remove leading slash. All right, so if we run this again, .NET run. Yeah, okay, now we I don't know, get this and foo and foo again and foo again and books. Maybe it's what's slow about books is actually reading all the books as JSON. Maybe that's where all the time is going, because that is a reasonably, it's like 500K file. That shouldn't be this slow. There's something else going on there. Let's look at paths. Yeah, so slash was 1, foo is 2, and we're still working on books. Yeah, we're still working on books. Maybe it's just slow. I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Let's see what else. It works. So this part seems to work. Show book number N. Show books 1 to N and move the configuration details into into a configuration file. Good. Well, let's ask again. Paths. No, still working on books. Why is that? I bet now if I ask for it, it'll just work. That's curious that it just suddenly works now. Why? Whereas it was slow before. I don't know. But now if I read it again, I bet it's slow. And now if I read it again, I bet it's fast. Now let's see what we ended up with. Books 2. Yeah, there's something funny going on when we request that URL. And I don't know what. I don't know. We could look into it. Let's look at what else we had on our list here. So we were thinking, yeah, show book number N. Okay, here's what I think. Here's what I think we'll do for this. So if we do books, we're gonna do question N equal like 6 or something like that. And that should get us, but it's always getting us book number 4, just because that's what the servlet does. So what I think I'm gonna do and that's up here in this, not foo handler, that's up here in this, right, in this book handler. I think what we'll do is, yeah, I wonder if all the time's being spent here trying to read this thing. Well, let's see how big it is. we'll go over to here and we'll do ls-h. That means list things in a human readable format. And we'll say JSON. Oh, ls-lh. 584K for books. That's not that big. I also have episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which we could also work on. Probably won't right now. Okay, here's some thoughts. So every time this process request method gets called, it's, doing this. So it's like rereading it each time. But maybe it doesn't need to do that. Maybe we could make that an instance variable so it just reads it once. Who knows? Oh dear. Okay, so we need to get the request out of there. So I don't remember how to do that. So I'm gonna look where we did it earlier, which was in here. Yeah. This. I'm just gonna copy this and use this. So we want to get, but we don't, that's not actually what we want. We want to do context dot request dot query string. Well, we don't actually want that. All keys. And I think the type of that is essentially a map. So I want to say if dot contains, but I don't want author. What I want is n. So if it, and what I'll do is I'll say int booknum equal 0. And if it has an n in there, what I want to do, oh wow, look at this. That's exactly what I want. This is a dictionary. This looks up n. C#, I should mention, has this really cool feature where indexing into a dictionary, which isn't really an indexing, it's really a get operation. Instead of having to do .get like you would in Java, you can actually use the square brackets. So C# allows you to use square brackets, not just for primitive arrays, but to look up in dictionaries, to index into a list. So rather than having to call a get method, you can actually use the square brackets. And this int32.parse, this is going to be a string. But so I want to like parse it to an integer and assign it to book number. Perfect. I don't need this. I can get rid of this. God, GitHub Copilot is awesome. Okay, book equal book of booknum. Now this could throw an exception because we could request like n equal 10,000, which we'll probably do because I don't think there's that many books in there. And then we're just like still generating this information, which is totally fine. I do definitely want to do that. Let me come back up here. I need to stop this. I need to .NET run. Oh dear. Oh, it's definitely past my bedtime. Books n equals 6. Yeah, look at that. That did actually work. N equal 0. God, it's slow. N equal 2. Yeah, and that worked. Okay, and we didn't have descriptions for whatever this one is. N equal 2, N equal 3. First time is always slow. But if you run it a second time, it works. I don't know why that is. That is something we can look into, but probably not right now. So this works. We can pick particular book numbers. So that is very cool. I do like that a lot. Now, let me go back to here. Oh, Spacko. I should have started this project a while ago. Well, I can do book number n. This other stuff, show books 1 to n and move the configuration stuff. I'm already almost 40 minutes in. I think I'm going to stop this video and upload it. And at least we got sort of this much stuff done. That's pretty good. We'll work on this other stuff. I'm going to do one more thing and just see if it works, which is I don't want to read this every single time. That seems slow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create instance variables inside, not, what the crap am I doing? Good grief, Spacko. Like I said, instance variables. I'm going to say private list of books. And what I'm going to do is, you know what? I can actually make a constructor, public book handler, and I can, wow, that is really freaking cool. GitHub Copilot all like thinks that this chunk of code should be up here. That's very smart because that's exactly what I want up there, right? I want it to just preload this stuff once and then that's it. Wow, GitHub Copilot, you are smart, except for when you're not. Good times. Yeah, and the reason, so like it was doing the same thing you do in Java. If you don't provide a constructor, C# like provides one for you, and since there were no instance variables, it didn't really matter. But here, yeah, I want it to, create my lovely list of books, which I can then use later. And just to show you a little bit so that we kind of know specifically, if you can see, there's the constructor being called. We're creating an instance of book handler and binding it to books. Let me just, okay, let me stop this, run it again, and just make sure things still work. So now, come back over here, and I don't know, go, does that work? How about 9? I don't know what book is there. It's weird. Yeah, that works. Okay, but it's not speeding it up, right? Because now if I go and ask for 10, it's spinning and it's kind of slow. I don't know why it's slow. Because then if we like escape and now we ask for book number 10, now it's fast. So I don't know why that is. I could figure it out, but probably probably not tonight. So things to do next video are going to be take the book handler stuff here and add other features. So one possible feature is, get a specific book number and look for it. Another possible feature would be, uh list books from start to end. So instead of just listing a single book in that HTML table like we're getting now, we're just getting a single book, list a bunch of books one after another. We might want that. Also, believe it or not, these books have images in them. The JSON has images in it. Like if we look at it, it has links to images, which I guess do something. I don't know. Oh, one other thing I wanted to try just for the heck of it is what if I ask for something that doesn't exist? And of course, the first time it doesn't work. I'm going to copy this. Well, that's weird. Hmm. Well, interesting. But what if I ask for 100? 100 works. 1,000 probably doesn't work because there's probably not 1,000 books in there. So it could be throwing an exception. Oh, yeah. Oh, good. Great. We're actually getting that index. We're actually literally getting that a bunch of times. Oh, that's exciting. Index was out of range. Must be non-negative and less than the size of the collection. Parameter index. Great. We were literally getting exceptions. So I imagine what's happening is like when we get an exception, we're not like flushing and closing things correctly. So we might need to mess around with our try catch finally blocks. That's okay. We can do that. We're not going to do that right now. But this is good. So the thing I want to do, I'm going to stop the server. Unknown command stop. Oh, you know what? There were probably like a bunch of spaces or something in there. Yeah. Okay. So now what I want to do is yeah, what branch am I on? Okay, git add program and simple server. Git commit -m Added new command line features for basically profiling and began tracking. No, not tracking. What am I doing with the thing there? With the thing? You can tell it's getting late and my vocabulary is gone to just thing with the thing and the thing and the stuff and the thing. What is it that I'm trying to figure out? All right. Yeah, I'm work began um improving the /books servlet. Okay. So we're going to commit this to the solution branch. Now we'll say git push solution. Right. So all the code I've written, watch this. I have this committed here to this, to this private repository called simple server solution. But there's also, there's also simple server, which is still the code you have. So you can watch these videos and go through and make all these changes, but you don't have access. You can't just like check out the code. So I want you to actually go through the process of like adding these features where you have the answers, but not typed out already. I think that's hopefully a good process to go through. Cool. Well, what is this? Oh, for a TV show. Right. We actually have that. All right, that's fine. And the README is totally useless. We do need to fix the README. Okay, well, listen, we're getting there. It's all fine. It is all freaking fine. So we're gonna add new features to here. This we might generate like the header and then generate a bunch of different rows in a loop. We might try sticking images in. We might factor this out into a function. I don't know. We might do a bunch of, maybe we'll add new TV show handlers and whatever. I don't know. We're going to factor all this stuff into a configuration because this is like taking up a lot of real estate. Like, look at how much space this is taking up in here, right? We'll just stick that in a configuration file. When we start it up, it's in the file. There's no reason to like pollute the code with all of this stuff if we could put that in a file. Okay, we did our commit on the branch, which is just awesome. I guess we're done. I'll turn this off and start uploading it. Great. Thanks for watching.